What's up guys, welcome back to another video. We're just wrapping up a pretty insane week kiteboarding in Dakhla, Morocco, and I figured I'd make a quick little video about some of the things you guys should know if you want to come kiteboarding in Dakhla. Let's go.
1, 3, 5, go! Coming from the wild, wild West Indies.
Okay guys, so welcome back to the video. Before we jump into some of the stuff that you guys need to know if you want to come kiteboarding in Dakhla, I want to talk a little bit about the place that we got to stay at. We stayed at PK25, which is one of the newer places to stay in Dakhla. But yeah, super nice location. You get to stay right on the spot. They got some beautiful bungalows. And the whole team and crew here are like super genuine, like nice and helpful people. They got a nice little spot for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they got a pretty sweet kite shop and a little kite center where they do lessons and stuff like that. So if you don't have gear, or you want to rent gear, or you want to do lessons, those guys got everything you need. And the crew peeps is super duper cool. So huge shout outs to PK25. If you never heard of them, definitely check them out if you're coming over to Dakhla. So yeah, now we can jump into a little bit about the stuff that I learned coming to Dakhla. Basically, whenever you're going on a kite trip anywhere, you know, the big question is how windy is it going to be? What kite sizes do you need? And this was, for us, was actually super duper hard to find out. So me and Megan actually only brought our 10s and 12s, and we ended up being way overpowered for the first few days of the trip. So kite sizes, what kite should you bring? Definitely bring a small kite and a big kite. I'd recommend 8, 10, and 12. That pretty much covers the whole range of what you kind of need. But for the most part, expect some windier days. Here, when it's on, when the weather's good, it definitely produces higher wind more often than less wind. And then next up, what are the conditions like? Basically, most of the spots are located right on the main lagoon, so it's super nice for twin tipping and foiling. Some of you guys may be wondering, can you go foiling? I wanted the same thing because when you look at Dakhla on the map, it looks super duper shallow, and for the most part, it is. But the way the lagoon is set up, the tide comes and goes a lot, and there are a lot of deep spots. So definitely bring your foil if you're into foiling. There are not that many foilers around, so it's pretty cool being able to rip around when no one else can. Everyone always gets so stoked when they see someone out foiling. So yeah, can you foil in Morocco? Yes, definitely you can. So bring some small kites, bring your foil, and you should be able to shred no matter what. So yeah, once you kind of get warmed up to the location, you know, obviously you can kite right on in front of where you're staying, just in the big lagoon. There are lots of kiters around. This has been kind of really cool for me because this is probably one of the first places that I've ever been that it's like a kite town. Pretty much everyone here is here for like one reason, and that is to kite as much as possible. But with that said, it's a huge lagoon and each spot is kind of spread out. So there could be like 50 or maybe even 100 kiters out, but they kind of hold their zone and there's still lots of room to play. But if you want to kind of explore a little bit and kind of get away from just kiting right out in front, which is pretty nice, but there are some pretty dreamy spots that you have to check out if you come to Dakhla. One is a speed spot, which is basically just right across the main lagoon. You can either like do a mean downwinder, take a boat, or hike across the like sand dune, which is a big old mission. I'd only recommend you do that once or twice because it's definitely quite a mission. But once you get over to the speed spot, it's a dream. I think it really shines on low tide because there's this sand like spit that comes out and creates like super duper glassy water right downwind. And it's actually a great place to learn. We actually did some lessons when we were over there because it actually goes for like a long way straight downwind where it's deep and breaks off into like a shallow little shelf. So you can ride back and forth all day, send some big tricks, or just, you know, get used to riding upwind. So definitely check out the speed spot. And then the second spot you should check out if you're in Dakhla is go to the white sand dunes. And for me, this is one of the most impressive places I've ever seen kiteboarding. Basically, we did a downwinder from PK25. Took about 40 minutes, 50 minutes, maybe an hour. of like bombing downwind, cruising the whole coastline. We got to see some sick flamingos, and just we got to see like how big the desert actually is. Feels like you're kind of on the moon when you're like way out there and it's just you and the crew, because there's literally nothing around except sand. But when you actually make it down to the sand dune, it's super sick. It's basically this huge hill of just sand, super soft, mushy sand. And kind of the big thing to do when you get down there is to like send a jump off of it. So we definitely did that. But yeah, definitely check out the speed spot and check out the white sand dunes. Those are the two kind of main highlights of Dakhla, I would say. So as far as shredding, if you want to get away from the main just lagoon, definitely check out speed spot and white sand dunes. And the last thing that I definitely need to bring up, which is super interesting and I think very specific to coming to a place like Morocco or Dakhla, is the drone laws and the photography laws. Like for me, this is kind of a touchy subject because, you know, I film a lot of videos and I want to make sure that when I travel somewhere, I can actually get my gear out of the airport and, you know, make some videos. So there is a big, very strict drone law in Dakhla. So if you're coming to Dakhla, I would recommend you leave your drone at home, unless you're happy with just leaving your drone at the airport, because 9 out of 10 times they will search all of your bags, and if you do have a drone, they won't let you take it out. So yeah, don't bring a drone. And then also, as far as camera gear goes, travel pretty light. Don't bring like super heavy high production gear, because if you do that, it'll definitely set off an alarm and they will try and hold all of your camera gear. But with that said, I still brought all of my normal camera gear, like, you know, a couple GoPros, my Sony a6500. So still super good gear for the most part. But, you know, don't bring your 100 to 400 lens or your red camera, stuff like that. That's definitely can be a bit tricky getting through the Dakhla airport. So yeah, guys, that pretty much kind of summed up today's video. Before we close it off, some of you guys may be wondering, Jake, how did you end up in Dakhla, Morocco? That's a super good question, because most of you guys know I live in the Caribbean on a small island called Antigua. So traveling somewhere like Dakhla is a mission. You know, there needs to be a reason to do that. And basically this trip came about from a company called Heli.life, which is basically an adventure company that has a website that allows you to book sick adventure travel. And basically they're just branching into kiting. And basically I got to be a part of this trip with another pro kite girl called Rita. And yeah, we brought, I think, 14 or 15 people down, and basically it was like an organized group trip. So yeah, big ups to the guys over at Heli. If you want to check them out and like stay in the loop for future kite trips that we do, they'll be linked down in the description below. I definitely recommend checking them out, because we're gonna try and plan a lot more trips like this one in the future. So yeah, big ups to those guys, and big ups to you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this video helps you out if you ever come kiting in Dakhla. If it did, if you got any more tips, leave a comment down in leave a comment down in the description below. And that's pretty much it, guys. Big thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys soon in another video. Peace, love, and big ups.
Whoa, fuck! Fuck! Yeah, never a dull moment when you're kiting around a bunch of other kites. Nearly lost my head just now.